Imagine waking up on a new world. The air is thin, the sky is a dusty red, and you're standing on the surface of Mars, the next potential home for humanity. But what exactly would happen if we colonized the red planet? Could we survive? And what would life be like on Mars? In today's video, we're going to dive deep into the science of space colonization and explore the challenges, the possibilities, and the realities of living on Mars. Let's get started. First, let's talk about what makes Mars so challenging. Unlike Earth, Mars is a harsh and unforgiving place. Its atmosphere is 100 times thinner than ours and is made mostly of carbon dioxide, so breathing is out of the question. In fact, you'd suffocate in minutes without proper protection. That's where technology comes in. In order to live on Mars, we'd need habitats that can provide a breathable atmosphere. These habitats would likely be domes or underground colonies, designed to protect us from Mars' extreme temperatures, radiation, and lack of oxygen. Speaking of temperatures, Mars is extremely cold. The average temperature is around minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but it can drop as low as minus 195 degrees Fahrenheit at the poles. So, without heated shelters, humans wouldn't last long in the freezing Martian environment. We would also need reliable energy sources. Since Mars is further from the Sun, solar power would be less effective than on Earth. We'd likely rely on nuclear power, or perhaps new forms of energy, to keep the colony running, ensuring that we can heat our habitats, grow food, and power the life support systems. Let's get into the real meat of survival: food, water, and air. We can't just bring all the resources we need from Earth. We have to think long-term. So how would we produce food on Mars? One way is through hydroponic farming. Without soil, growing crops would rely on nutrient-rich water solutions and artificial lighting. Scientists are already experimenting with growing crops in Mars-like conditions, and it's promising. But there's one big hurdle: water. Mars doesn't have large bodies of liquid water on its surface, so we'd need to extract it from underground ice deposits, or, in the future, create artificial systems to recycle water efficiently. Luckily, Martian soil contains a small amount of water, and we might be able to mine it. But we'd have to be extremely efficient with recycling. Every drop would count. Next, air. Breathing the Martian atmosphere is impossible, but if we build closed-loop systems, we could extract oxygen from the carbon dioxide in the air. NASA's experiments, like MOXIE, Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, have already demonstrated that this is possible on a small scale. If we scale that up, we could have a sustainable supply of oxygen. But there's still a huge challenge here. We're talking about creating a life support system that can run for decades, or even centuries, without failing. If the system breaks down, we'd be in big trouble. Now, let's talk about the mental side of things. Living on Mars wouldn't just be physically challenging, it could be emotionally and psychologically taxing as well. Imagine being far away from Earth, over 200 million miles away at its closest, and isolated from friends, family, and everything familiar. That kind of distance could take a serious toll on mental health. Studies show that isolation and confinement, such as those in the International Space Station, ISS, already cause stress, anxiety, and even depression in astronauts. Living on Mars would amplify these issues, with the added risks of limited communication with Earth. It takes about 20 minutes for a signal to travel from Mars to Earth, and the communication delay would make real-time conversations nearly impossible. Psychologists would need to develop strategies to help colonists manage stress and stay mentally healthy. Regular exercise, hobbies, and group activities would be crucial to maintaining social bonds. And let's not forget the importance of virtual reality and other technologies that could offer escapes to help deal with the isolation. So, when might this all happen? Well, we're not talking about moving to Mars tomorrow, but advancements are happening. Companies like SpaceX are working on developing the technology to send humans to Mars, and NASA's Artemis program is laying the groundwork for sustainable space exploration. In the next few decades, we could see the first crewed missions to Mars. These would likely be temporary missions that last only a few months. But over time, as technology improves and we develop better life support systems, the vision of permanent Mars colonies could become a reality. Long-term, the idea of terraforming Mars has also been proposed. Terraforming means transforming the planet's atmosphere and surface to make it more Earth-like, enough to support human life without life support systems. This could involve warming up Mars to release carbon dioxide from its polar ice caps, creating a thicker atmosphere and even introducing plants to produce oxygen. But this is purely theoretical. The process would take centuries, if not longer, and it's unclear whether it's even feasible. For now, it's more practical to focus on creating self-sustaining habitats that protect us from the Martian environment, rather than trying to change Mars itself. So, could we live on Mars? The short answer is yes, but it would be a massive challenge. With the right technology, planning, and dedication, we could build a sustainable presence on Mars. But it's going to take time, and we'll need to solve many problems along the way. Mars may not be our next home just yet, but it could be humanity's first step into the stars. And that's something to get excited about. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more space and science content. What do you think? Could you live on Mars? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring.